you imagine yourself charging into Xenos filth or conquering the galaxy for the greater good? So do we. Join us as we chat all things tabletop without taking any of it too seriously. Welcome to Third Space Tabletop Talks.
So everybody, we're back again. I'm joined by Steve, Ben, and Seb. It's the Third Space Podcast, everybody.
Yay!
We are on episode 7, I think. 7, everybody?
It is 7. Yes.
Episode 7. We're going to number them now. Episode 7. So, up in this episode, we do have some exciting stuff coming up. We're having a little bit of a soft reset. So we're going to do an introduction to some of the things that we have planned. And the things we've got planned, they include a set of challenges, some recurring segments, and some other just cool and interesting stuff for the podcast going forwards. And later in the podcast, we're going to be talking through the first one of those, which will be a feature in probably the next episode and then maybe the episode after that. But before we reveal that and go into it in a bit more detail, I reckon we should have a bit of a catch-up about what's been going on in the hobby lately. So the big thing for me is the release of Saturnine, which is going to be coming out on the 26th of July. So, chaps, Saturnine, have you guys started up anything in anticipation of the release?
I have. I'm going for white scars. I'm painting up all my old heresy that I haven't touched since Age of Darkness. And they're going white scars, getting ready. Obviously getting ready for the launch date that's happening now at the archives. So getting all the models. And I've also doing some custodes as well. Because, 7 miniatures is 500 points. So it's mad. It's absolutely mad. So, yeah, I've been working on some custodes and I've been working on some white scars, painting up all the old models. So, yeah, that's what I've been up.
Amazing. Ben, you still on the Blood Angels?
No, I'm mixing up, and I'm going to go with something completely different this time round. That Blood Angels, they've started respraying my Imperial Fists for the Age of Darkness box, getting that filthy yellow off and painting it the only colour it should be, glorious red, as well as treat myself to some of the Blood Angels specific units. So I've got the Crimson Paladins that I built up and primed. They're ready to go. And then I started last night, built my first Dawnbreaker cohort mini. And I've got to say, the Forge World stuff, despite being expensive, is nice. The numbering system's a bit confusing because they number the minis, but the numbers don't actually relate to the numbers on the instructions. So you'll have right, go and find number 8, and then you'll find number 8, and it's like a couple of shoulder pads. So you're not actually looking for the numbers, you're looking for letters.
Got it.
But apart from that, pretty good. And then, some dreadnought action and stuff like that. So I should have almost 1,000 points by the time we do the release event of Heresy, all in red, the right colour.
A little birdie, Ben, tells me that you may have joined the dark side of the Titan Legions.
There may be a small Titan on the way.
Seb, I think that you were saying that you're embroiled in the middle of a load of Space Wolves, but interested in getting into Heresy, but you're kind of trying to take it easy and maybe start one thing after another. Doesn't sound very much like a Warhammer player, but you know.
I know. I think my mindset on it kind of at the moment is I'm enjoying the Space Wolves a lot, and I'm just I'm getting them done at my own pace. But I know if I then start another project, I'll forget about them. So I just want to get as much of my Space Wolves done first, and then. But I'm ready. When the new box comes out, I will purchase it, and then obviously put it to one side. And then once the Space Wolves are done, I'll jump straight into it. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm just waiting to buy it off Seb at a knockdown price when he doesn't touch it. I'm Seb's biggest reseller customer.
Most importantly, Seb, what legion are you going for?
So I was kind of stuck. I was stuck between Death Guard and Blood Angels because I was looking at Death Guard going, it might be nice to do, heretics for a change, because obviously my 40k army is Space Wolves, but I've looked at it more, and I think I'm probably going to go with Blood Angels for Heresy, mainly because they've got lots of other really good Heresy units, and of course, if Games Workshop ever decide to re-release the Primarchs, which would be lovely, then who doesn't want to have a model of Sanguinius?
Me. I don't want one.
Steve, you're beyond help. All right, let's move on.
So no.
But yeah, no, so that's kind of where I'm going.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
They
So
got some cool stuff. And Josh, even you've admitted that the Dawnbreaker cohort are maybe some of the coolest minis.
The Dawnbreaker cohort are fantastic. So I principally have Death Guard as my Space Marine Legion. Ben clearly
to hear
has Blood Angels as his principally. So I think that Ben and I were the angel and devil on his shoulders, and unfortunately Seb went for the devil and ended up with the red team. But I can't win them all.
Technically, that wouldn't be the devil, but I don't want to throw hands here or anything. But
what the hell is wrong with the White Scars? Just saying.
Anyway, let's leave that question where it is, like the bad smell it is.
We'll move on before anybody starts doing accents. Right. So
Hold on, very quickly, Steve. I believe you were having a conversation with ChatGPT last week about who their favourite Primarch was.
Yeah, and unfortunately, ChatGPT decided that Sanguinius is the best Primarch. Absolute joke. I think it's rigged. So
I'm just saying, ChatGPT has trawled thousands and billions of pages of the internet to find the answer, and has come up with, the right
Little
one.
do we know, Ben, it's actually you just every day to ChatGPT say Sanguinius is the best. Sanguinius is the best. Sanguinius is the best. Sanguinius is the best.
I did also just ask ChatGPT that, and it has also said the best overall is Sanguinius. Although personally, if we're going to 40k as well, I mean, might have to be Lehman Russ.
Can you ask it who the second best Primarch is?
Where is Lehman Russ, mate, in 40k? Where is he?
He's in the warp. Where's Sanguinius? Huh?
He can't be there.
Where's your dad? He's going to go get the milk and everything back.
Sanguinius is dead.
Russ chose not to come back. Sanguinius is unable. All right.
If he sells,
he
will
would
come back.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, if he makes money,
he'll come back.
So I was going to say, in the Reddit sphere, surprise, surprise, there seems to have been some negativity around the third edition release, particularly people focusing on the choices that are available in the new edition. I know that none of us have played the new edition yet, but I mean, any of you guys have a take on that in particular? If not, we can dash right along. But
I don't know about the rules because I haven't played it before. It's completely new. But I mean, I have seen. I think the main sort of complaints outside of the rules themselves, you've got this real sort of 50-50 split of the new Saturnine Terminators Dreadnoughts. Like some people saying they love them. Some people saying they hate them, which is really interesting that it's like so conflicted.
No, I don't know. Right. Oh.
Steve, that was the most Irish response you could have given.
Yeah. Doesn't probably matter really, does it? At the end of the day.
I think it harks back to a comment you made a while ago when we were talking about stuff that comes out and people don't like it, and it's just like, well, if you don't like it, then get it, and then if you do like it, do get it, kind of thing. Like it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because like you could really delve into, because like is it Heresy Hammer or something? There's a podcast getting a lot of flack at the moment from the community, which is mad. The flack they're getting, and it's just in comments and stuff. And it's just I feel sorry because the guys just do what they do. They do a grand job. I don't listen to it too much, but they do what they do. And like some people get so worked up about it. What's
the beef? Like, what's the?
I mean, one thing they were going at and was like they were saying they were gatekeeping the rules from everyone. They're like, we don't know nothing, silly stuff like that, and they were going into. I don't know if you know more, Josh, on it. But
there are a couple of things that I think that I know about it. I haven't properly verified these by looking at the rulebook myself, but I think a part of the problem that people have is that there are, particularly in Heresy 2.0, there's lots of available units and there's a lot of customization options for the units that are available. So I think that some people have ended up in situations where, so the one that I read specifically, again, people can verify this for themselves. I don't know if this is 100% true, but I believe that in second edition Horus Heresy, the Blood Angels and the Imperial Fists could both take assault cannons, for example, which none of the other legions could take. However, in Heresy 3, only the Blood Angels can take them, and the Imperial Fists can no longer take them. And that means that there are people.
Just pause you for a second. I'm confused, mate. If people want to go with shit legions, that's their fault.
So you know how Steve was saying that Heresy Hammer
You've
were
all got
catching.
choices, people.
You know how Steve was saying Heresy Hammer were catching some real flack. That here it comes for us.
Bring them on.
So I
split camp right here anyhow. So like there'll be flack or support is what it's going to be, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. But I think so. I think the part of the problem is that people have these armies that they've spent a long time building and customizing. And somebody was saying, that they had I think it was a Contemptor Dreadnought with 2 assault cannons and a load of their other stuff outfitted with assault cannons because it was a really thematic thing to be able to do with the Imperial Fists. And now it's just been removed as an option. And they're like, right, well, I guess I just tear apart all of my miniatures, do I? Which is really unfortunate.
No, you just need to paint it red. That's so much easier. Like and then not only have you fixed the problem, you've painted it a proper colour as well. So, this edition seems like a real win so far.
Third Space Podcast has, Ben's opinions and comments aren't reflective of the entire of the Third Space crew.
No, it's. But then again, like also you got to think about it, like how far you go into it, isn't it? At the end of the day, how often do you play? What do you play? Because some people get the knickers in a twist about some stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, the rules are this, that, and the other." I'm like, "Well, when was the last Heresy tournament that you went to?" Do you get me? It's that kind of thing. It's just like, if I'm going to play some fun games with friends, although it's not in the rules, my models are this. Do you mind if I, it's
yeah, mate. As long as they're red, you can do what you want.
Jesus Christ! If you say red once more, I'm going to come over to Dorchester and slap you silly, like. So, but it is that, isn't it? It's just like, don't get me wrong, it is upsetting, like that the rules, something hasn't quite continued on, like and it can be, like if you spent however long you spend building your armies and stuff like this, and then suddenly the rules have changed, it is a bit like, what? Why?
Presumably, though, they've gained something.
I don't know. As I said earlier, I've not been able to properly verify this, so I don't know. Say, for example, with Imperial Fist, I don't know what they've gained versus what they've lost. I'm not entirely sure.
I wonder if they can. They could use the Solarite Gauntlet. They could use that, couldn't they?
They used to be able to use it, I think. Yeah, I don't know if they still can. I did notice that, for example, in a tactical squad. Not that this is the same thing, but within a tactical squad in second edition of Horus Heresy, you could upgrade your sergeants to be using Artificer armor, for example, which would give the sergeants within your squad a 2+ armor save. That's not an option anymore. You just can't do that. That's not something you can do. And there'll be some people who will be cheering about that, perhaps, because it means you don't have those silly situations where your champion, your sergeant, is at the front of the squad dancing around in front of all of the bullets to take all of the shots for his teammates. But at the same time, objectively, it's less customization available to your squad, and I think that they seem to have been moving to a position similar to how 40k is, where if they haven't made a model for that particular unit, they're moving into a position that they're taking away those units. So the I'm going to butcher the name of it, but the Mechanicus, for example, in the second edition of the game, they had I think it's called the Ululator, the massive, great big, like, missile on tank tracks, basically. There were 2 different ones. Games Workshop hasn't released the models for those in a number of years. Second edition, you could still use them. There were still rules for them. Third edition, they're gone. So because Games Workshop aren't producing the model anymore, there's no longer rules for you to be able to use it anymore. So I think that's similar to their 40k approach.
I feel like that does make a bit of sense, because I remember when we looked through the second edition rulebook, looking at all the stuff you could have. So, like, I mean, at the time I was, I'd made some poor life choices and I was building Imperial Fists, but we were looking through their equipment and going, yeah, you can have a Solarite Power Gauntlet. Great. Well, where do I get one of those? Well, you can't buy it as part of a kit. All right, cool. You can get the Phalanx Warders. Well, where do you get those then? And either you can't use them, or you need access to a 3D printer, or you spend an absolute wedge on Forge World, or it just doesn't exist. So I feel like that does make sense if the mini is just not available. Because I suppose the other thing as well is GW probably want to stop people going to, third parties that are printing their own designs. Whether there's an element of that, trying to close down that a bit.
Yeah, I think that there was historically
that says, well, if people want it, why don't you just make it? Like if people are going off and spending thousands on 3D printed minis that are stuff that you just don't make anymore or have never made. Maybe you should make them, but then
Well,
I
that's
dunno.
the whole. That's kind of it. It's almost like it's breaking some eggs to make an omelette. Like very much. They're going, yeah, we'll take them out, and it will stop people from printing their own. And at the same time, if we just take it out of the game completely, there's no debate about if it's allowed or not. So I think, as you say, if something's not being made anymore, I think it's a very logical explanation to just get rid. And it's not like there's not enough units already. It's not like, oh, you've taken away our last like army specific unit. It's not like it's a massive loss. I think it's a similar thing like with the rules. Like, I mean, I don't know. I might be completely wrong here. You have to correct me if I am, Josh. But
You're
if
always
they're
wrong.
taking away, cheers, Steve. Thanks, mate. Uh, if they're
anyway, cheers,
taking
Seb. Thanks,
away,
mate.
yeah, I'm off now anyway. Yeah, but like if they're taking away a rule from one army, they're not going to be doing it. So we really want to shit on this army. There's going to be something else that comes in somewhere else, or it synergizes with a different unit better. It's not going to go, yeah, actually, we don't want anyone playing word bearers, so we're going to absolutely shit on their rules for it. And I just don't think that's how it is.
Yeah, and
I could be wrong though.
I don't think that Games Workshop are making this decision out of any kind of spite towards particular factions or particular players by any means. I think probably the decision is being made from both a legal standpoint in them protecting their intellectual property, and then second of all from a business standpoint in that, for example, the Ordinatus Ulator or whatever it's called, this massive, this massive item. Games Workshop have something they refer to as the hobby trumpet, which is that there are certain things at the opening to the trumpet where loads and loads of people will be interested in that particular thing. And as you progress further along that route, fewer and fewer people are interested in it. So you'll start off with like Warhammer. So Warhammer being, the main thing they do. They do some other sort of board games and some other little bits. Warhammer's the biggest thing they do. But then, so you've got most people there. However, then you go to, okay, well, this model is specifically for Horus Heresy. You've already lost a lot of people. And then within Horus Heresy, this model is specifically for the Mechanicum. You've lost loads of people now. And then within these models that are for the Mechanicum, this thing is a massive kit that is really expensive. You've lost loads more people. And it's made out of resin and is incredibly difficult to build, and the material is toxic. Suddenly, there are very, very few people who are interested in that particular kit. Now, the flip side of that is from their business and intellectual property side of things. Games Workshop have been in a position before, and I think it was Chapter House. I don't know if you guys may remember this, but Games Workshop had a Tyrannid drop pod. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a Tyrannid drop pod. It was in the book. There were rules for it. They didn't make a model for it. Chapter House made a model for this particular thing, and Games Workshop said, well, you can't do that. That's our intellectual property. And Chapter House said, we don't make it. How can it be your property? Like, you don't make this thing. There is no model for this thing. So it ended up being quite a difficult legal battle for Games Workshop. I can't remember how it turned out for them, but I think they kind of said at that point, we don't want to be playing this game anymore. If we're going to have rules for something, we'll have a model for it, and then it makes it really clear, and there can't be any kind of claims that this thing doesn't belong to us or anything like that. So from a business perspective, it does make sense, but I can't help but feel bad for those people who, despite them being a very small minority of people, there are people who have in the past supported Games Workshop and said, I'm going to buy this massive £400 model because I think it looks amazing. I really love the faction. I really want to use it. And now Games Workshop have said, oh, well, too bad. You're too specific a part of our audience, and now you can't use it. As you say, Steve, I think that in that sort of friendly setting, anybody who's playing in a friendly setting, they're going to go, yeah, we'll make something up to be able to still use it. We can do that. But I do sympathise a little with those people who are, have spent that money and now can't use their thing,
I mean, 100%. I mean, the thing is also, when you buy a piece like that, that's a showstopper, isn't it? If you do go to a tournament or something, you want people to go like, that model that's really expensive but no one has. Well, I've got it and it's on here. And then people who spend that kind of money on it want it. It is annoying. It is frustrating. But then also, I think on the other line is, do you think like at the end of the day, they've made a success with 40k. They're pushing hard in Sigma. Heresy is the next like big thing that they've been working on. And again, like I think like some of the rules are streamlined. They haven't streamlined it massively. They've kept firing arcs in, thank God. That's a real bugbear of 40k I have. But apart from that, they're doing they're doing stuff there, and I think I think this is when sometimes when you have to make those hard changes at the start of something to progress. to go forward. Like, it's just like, I think that's what Heresy Mark 1, Heresy Mark 2, they're coming to Heresy Mark 3. They're like, let's, we've learned our lessons from this. Let's make a success out of it. Because like the books are, the story, the world of Heresy is just enormous. And it's just, I think the chops that they've made are, it is that business sense of going like, it's not worth our time or money to have these kind of things. Let's make this work. And you don't know, like down the line, it may come back in. Like, remember back when 40k, like the biggest model for a Tyranids was a Carnifex, like, the 4 claws, like, that was it. And then, you saw someone bring that on the board, you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Now you look at some of the sizes of the plastic kits that are coming out. So, you don't know what the for lack of a better word, as everyone's using it, the roadmap is of, Heresy. Like, but I mean, it is exciting. I am excited with it for once,
I think,
because like Heresy 2.0, it had the models and stuff, but it didn't. Oh, I don't know. It just didn't feel like it had a push behind it. Do you get me?
I think, yeah. From what you said there, actually, Steve, there are 2 points which I think are really at the forefront of my mind about it. So first of all, you're talking about the roadmap and the things they're bringing out, and they've already shown that they are bringing out a plastic Fellblade. So the Fellblade we know is going to be brought out in plastic, and they are moving to bring out larger and larger things in plastic. And you would hope on that basis that it means that these things are, safe for basically all future editions. And if they keep expanding that range, it will hopefully bring some of these things back in again once they can become a plastic miniature. And it means they're not having to spend, days retooling machines to keep producing this resin, because obviously they're moving towards that plastic. And second of all, you mentioned it, because I was going to ask this to you all separately and see what you think. Heresy 2, when it released to not a huge amount of applause, and I think that people were excited about it, but it did very much feel as though it was like here's a fringe game that we know is for the people who like their old Warhammer, that kind of stuff. Heresy 3 seems like there's a lot more behind it to me. Do you guys think that they're trying to make Heresy like one of the main focuses for Warhammer going forwards?
100%, because they brought, I remember literally the other day, when they announced the pre-orders of the Saturnine box, the next day they released one of their high production values, how to play Heresy. Like they're trying now to have 40k Age of Sigmar Heresy all on a similar sort of, level of popularness. That's a crap word, but you know what I mean. They want them all on a very similar level, which I think as well, as you said about the larger kits coming to plastic, I think they will want to bring more and more stuff to plastic, because once again, Warhammer is already a very expensive hobby, and if you go on to, you go, oh great, so I've got the Saturnine box, what's next? And you go, okay, well, I would quite like this unit. Oh, hang on a minute, it's 60 quid for 4 models. Oh, but I want this one. Oh, it's 40 quid for 1 model. I like the Primarch. It's 100 quid for 1 model and it's never in stock. You say, oh, what's the point then? Because now I've just got an army that doesn't feel complete, and in order to complete that army, there's all these units I can't buy. So I think if this box does as well, and I think if enough people buy it, they will go, right, okay, well, now let's look at some of the smaller units and bringing them to plastic as well, because I think having them, not the majority, but a large amount of the models in the game system still made in resin, if they're trying to push it, is just absolutely like the incorrect move.
I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think it'll ever get as big as 40k. 40k is a very easy to play game. If I can play it, anyone can play it. So like, it's gone that way. Like, I definitely think it scratches an itch for the older players, the older people in the community, because the rules are similar to some of our earlier editions, like, and the way you play the game, you set up and everything like this, and it's not set strategies, objectives, and stuff like this. So I think it definitely tickles that itch, and I think, as I think about it more and more, as I'm talking about it now, it's like, I know there's a push and a turn to narrative gameplay, and Heresy lends itself more to, you're storming a city, let's set up the borders, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to, here's a prerequisite UKTC tournament standard. This is your board, these are your objectives, played by this mission pack of cards. Like, it's a little bit more, again, it's a more thematic and more that way, and I think it's going to be, entry is 40k, then you choose your kind of route, you go kill team, or you go up to Heresy. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, people, when they get into it, and like, am I right in saying it's got the most books, or it's got the longest series in the Black Library? The the whole thing is documented, where everything else is like, oh, this is, Minka Lentz over here, like we're doing Ultramarines books over here, we're doing those guys over there, and they don't cross over. Where like everything with Heresy is like, I know him, he was, and everything kind of links in one way or another, like So no, I think it's interesting to see what's going to come with it.
I wonder how much the book sales have contributed towards some of that, because I feel like certainly recently, I mean, the first Heresy book came out in, was it 2000? Something like that, 2001?
I don't know when. Not sure even. Let's have a look. Horus Rising, right?
Horus Rising. I think it was six. No, it's not 16. It's
25th of April, 2006.
2006.
Wow.
So it's 20 years ago. But I wonder how much, because the Seeds of Terror books have been quite popular.
Yeah.
So I wonder if I haven't seen any stats on book sales for Black Library and blah blah blah, but I wonder whether that's influenced it as well. Because if you've got a load of people that are interested in the lore, that's how you can get into it, and that's how GW does a good job of it all, by create the lore, get people excited about it, and then you go, oh, well, how can I use that on the tabletop?
I feel like if this, it's almost like with this new box that they're now obviously pushing, if it does well, this is kind of them sort of dipping their toes in and just testing the waters. If it does well, they could then go, okay, we've got all these books we can like go off of. Let's release loads more of stuff, bring it all out in plastic, scrap everything that's not plastic, and go for it. And I think that'll be an idea. It's not saying they will do it. They're going, right, let's see how this does first, and then we'll decide. Like if the box sales go up massively compared to Horus Heresy 2, then they might go, actually, this could be an argument here for us to chuck more money at Horus Heresy and see if we can get those older players or more advanced players into it who only play 40k.
Yeah. I think the point that Steve made earlier is interesting, actually, in that kind of that thing of saying, actually, if you want to get that mass appeal, then you really need to have the items in plastic, because you are putting those players off by having them in resin. Obviously, retooling these things into plastic is really expensive, so it would be interesting to see as we go through further editions of Horus Heresy, whether it becomes more and more mainstream a game as they get the opportunity to iterate on those old resin kits and convert more and more of them over to plastic, until eventually, as you say, you might reach that point where it's then all in plastic, apart from maybe like the Primarchs or something like that, because they want to keep those as those like one-off special centerpiece items. So it might well be that by the point they get there, they say, actually, this is a mass appeal game now. You might get to the stage where they say, 40k is clearly a lot more popular and generates a lot more revenue than Age of Sigmar. I must admit, I don't know how much revenue Horus Heresy as a game generates compared to Age of Sigmar, but you might find that they get to the stage where it starts to compete with it, and then they go, this actually is really...
First Heresy, yeah.
And again,
everyone
that could be more
listening
of
to all four of our listeners, buy more Heresy, because we want more Heresy. So, let's make this a thing,
Yeah. Get your box. Come on to pre-release, we do.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't think we've touched on it, but I want to say about it. We've got a midnight release. I don't think anyone else is doing a midnight release down at the archive. If you want to say more about it, Ben, what we doing?
I mean, that's pretty much it.
To all of the listeners who don't already know where you are, Ben, what's the date, what's the time, what's the location for the midnight release of Horus Heresy Age of Darkness 3.0?
Ben's like, I'm just going to open the doors at 11:50, collect your box at 12 o'clock. Pissed off by 10 past 12.
So Friday the 25th, we'll all be playing some Heresy, having a little preview of the new rules as well, and then we'll play throughout all of the existing Heresy armies, and then come midnight, we'll be ripping open some new boxes and then enjoying some fresh plastic crack.
Some delicious new Saturnine.
Indeed. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I might be able to get along on the Friday. I'm not sure if I can or not, but I will be trying my best.
I mean, to me, what you said there is, guys, can you please hijack me, put me in the back of Steve's van, and turn me up there, and we could just file a missing persons report in the morning, and we'll get away with it. It's fine.
Yeah, just tell my wife that that's what you've done with me. You don't need to actually do it.
I know, it's got to be convincing.
Ben's there giving you a black eye. You're just like, Ben, what are you doing? We've got to make it look like a kidnapping, Steve. So yeah. No, good stuff.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, I mean, that seems to sort of be bringing us to the end of the current affairs and having a bit of a catch-up
Well, I
around the
was just
heresy.
very
Unless...
quickly
Oh, yeah, sorry, of course.
on new releases that aren't Warhammer.
Oh,
There is a new Lord of the Rings Pandemic game dropping in a couple of weeks. which is- Pandemic, yep.
interesting.
Nice.
What is the disease in it? The orcs?
Orcs, I guess.
Goblins? Urukai? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Worm
actually
tongue.
the hobbits. The hobbits are...
Worm tongue just sneaking around
From
the
what
map.
I've seen, you play as the Fellowship. So you're playing as the Fellowship, presumably to either get the ring or prevent the ring from, I don't know. But it looks like a lot of fun. The pandemic system is good. It's a good system, so that's proving popular on the pre-order front. Star Wars Unlimited Set 5 has dropped. Legends of the Force, which has been good, and we've seen plenty of new people getting into that. Jack's given that a go. Jack, who sadly is not with us today, but Jack's given it a go, and has had a good time, I think. So we played a bit today, and he didn't lose that much, so that was good. So no, it's and then Star Wars Legion has had some new announcements. So Star Wars Legion's getting some love again, which is good to see. So we've got some big new starter boxes coming out for the different factions, which is cool because Legion's not had love for a long time.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a little while since I've seen anything much new for it. That's cool that they're still supporting it though, because I thought that after the fate of was it both X-Wing and Armada or just Armada? It was both of them, yeah.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that there might be it might be the writing on the wall for it, but it's good to see that they're still doing stuff with it.
I mean, that still might be the case because they did a similar thing with Armada and X-Wing. They made some rule changes and they were like, hey, have some new starter sets. Like, this is amazing. And they're like, oh, by the way, we're not doing it anymore. So
make a bit of money before they go out.
Yeah, it may well be the same thing where they release some starter sets and go, well, there you go. Don't say we don't give you anything, and then cancel it anyway. So I don't know. It might still go that way. It might still go that way because again, they did exactly the same thing with Armada and X-Wing, and it's not Crisis Protocol. So obviously, Atomic Mass, it's not necessarily their favorite game system because they want to produce Crisis Protocol and Shatterpoint. Apart from that.
Ben loves Shatterpoint, he does.
Yeah, it's a great game system. Great game system. But yeah.
I'm looking forward to Legion. To be honest, I did pick up way back when. I do think Star Wars is still pretty damn cool. So I think I'd like to get into something on that. Do something with Legion.
I've really enjoyed the Spec Ops version. I think the Spec Ops version is a lot of fun, and that's like a Kill Team-esque. That's good. Again, I mean, a similar thing to Heresy. They don't actually produce a lot of the minis that you need for it. Or they do, but you've got to buy, sort of like 3 sets of different things for it to work. So again, it kind of pushes people into 3D printed stuff. Because, what do we need? I need a medical droid. Okay. They don't do a medical droid, so...
But yeah, you have to buy it as part of the Imperial Agents pack or whatever it is, don't you? Or something like that.
I guess that's only been out of stock for 3 years, so that's fine. They're almost as long as Sanguinius, to be fair. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Legion. But either way, it's nice to get some new starter sets. So there'll be some cool stuff there, if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any new models in those, or is it just a repackage and a sort of value
there are
box?
some new sculpts. They've redone a lot of the set 1 stuff. So that original core set back in the day, the Galactic Civil War set. They've redone Stormies, redone Rebels. They're redoing Luke and Vader. So they are redoing some of them. And I think the new sculpts are kind of a mixed bag. Some of them look really good. Some of them are kind of okay. But I think the big ones will be the Separatist and Clone packs. They'll be the ones that I think are super popular.
Yeah, sure. I can imagine. Everyone loves the Clone Wars, so yeah.
They just need the vehicles. Need to get some vehicles back. Start reproducing those again. But we'll see. Or just, release it and cancel it. Either or.
Cool. Okay. I think that does that bring us to the end of our kind of current affairs and new releases and so on. We all happy with that so far? Cool.
Happy.
Yeah, nice. Okay, well, that does bring us along then to the introduction of our kind of new feature that's going to be recurring throughout some future episodes. Steve's excited. Seb's pretending he's excited. Ben looks bored as fuck. So without further ado, let's get Ben to introduce it. And he's pretending he's frozen.
So our first new feature is called 10 Minute Marine, where each of us and some other guests, volunteers, victims, whatever you want to call yourselves, will have 10 minutes to paint a Space Marine to the best quality you can. The rules are very simple. You can start with it primed. It's got to be primed in black or grey, not the same colour as the chapter that you're going to pick. So don't spray it black if you're going Black Templars. Don't spray it grey if you're going for, I don't know, who's grey? What would you?
A lot of the old Heresy Legions were grey, weren't they? Modern
Grey
ones.
Knights-ish.
Yeah.
That's
Mostly
so
just Black Templars, actually. It's probably the
Yeah.
only one. So grey or black.
Steve's fuming.
And then you got 10 minutes and you got to film yourself doing it, or at least film the mini. It probably wouldn't be very interesting, actually, if you had a front-facing camera looking at you just going...
I think it has to include you painting it, because I think more of the enjoyment out of all of this is going to be seeing people struggle or get upset. Like, you know, I want to see people sweat. Like, you know, it's a big stop clock on the side. Would be on the iPad or the phone or whatever it is. 10-minute time, and you got to get that mini painted. And I want to see and hear people sweat about it, because it's going to be judged and it'll be ranked. Is that right, Ben? Yeah.
How do you see people? Did you say hear people
How'd you get an angle of you painting your face and the clock? That's the real question.
Just look. I'll do the first one, and I'll show you guys how to do it. All right? Don't you worry about it.
All
like,
right.
you know?
Steve's doing the first one. Well volunteered.
Yeah, and you know
grab
what?
your Furnace Marine on Wednesday.
I'm going to be ranked top of this table. No one's taking me off it. Like, you know, no one's going to beat me. 10 minutes.
No, so we will get my letters around the right way. We will rank it.
Well enunciated, mate.
Thank you, appreciate it. So if there's I suppose as well, if there's anyone listening that wants to take part and feels like they can take on the 10-minute Marine challenge, I won't be able to do it, mate. He's painted leopard skin. He's painted leopard print on all of his. I would like to give maybe a 10-minute Emperor's Children challenge for Jack. So Steve, you're going to take the first one?
Yeah, I hope. So it's an Inverness. It's the standard Inverness Marine. That's right. What I'm saying is the one that you can
standard
get.
Inverness. Yeah,
we have them, so we'll ship them to everyone who's going to partake in it with us. But it's the standard Inverness Marine. So yeah, you know what? I actually think I'm just going to go for the standard poster boys and do an Ultramarines.
Ultramarine.
Wow, fair enough.
But I'm doing Ultramarines Heavy Metal 90s edition, so yellow trim.
In 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes.
I'm going to nail it. There'll be everything. Don't you worry. Like, you know, you're gonna think like, my God, he's just the best painter I've ever seen. You know, please cut this for later on when we watch it in a fortnight time, and I'm just like,
what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you saying that with the like super zoomed in thing of your Marine like right next to it, so that we can see how
like it's just been dipped in a pot.
Yeah.
That's it. So so I'm looking forward to it. It's I think it's gonna be fun, and it'd be interesting to see. I think there's got to be audio when people paint it, because I really want people to get up. Yeah, I want to hear people. You know, I've only got a minute left, and I've only done wrong. You know, so yeah, and it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see. I've got a plan. I have a plan. So I don't know if it's gonna work.
I'm thinking about it. I'm like, that's the way I paint all my stuff.
Ben's already got this covered.
To make an extra rule for Ben that he can't use the colour red.
No, because that's not very fair, is it? That's not very nice, Josh.
What other colours do you paint with?
You know, Ben's actually colourblind, and red's the only one that you can see the shades properly on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want to ridicule my disability, Josh, you go for it, man. You know, it's just don't realize you were that kind of guy, but fine, you know.
I'm sorry, Ben.
It's okay. Just repaint your Death Guard red.
Do
you know what? I might go something like Imperial Fists. Something really.
Sorry, what?
Really fucking difficult.
That would be very difficult.
Sorry, I'm lost here. You're not going to paint red?
No, I might. Mate, I know I can paint a red Space Marine in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I wonder, could I do an Imperial Fist?
I just realised.
Starting in black. I reckon I could do it.
I mean, that could be a separate challenge in and of itself called the Marmalade Men or something, where it's just trying to get a black Marine to be yellow in as few coats as possible, and you just got 500 coats of Avalanche Sunset on it.
Well, you could do grey and then you could yellow contrast it.
No, I'd go. I'm thinking black.
black to yellow.
Okay.
Yep.
10 minutes.
Okay.
So also, just to clarify, you can use any paints you want or anything, but obviously no standable highlight. There's no cheating in the standable with the contrast paint to make it look.
But no airbrush. No airbrushes either.
It's done by brushes. There's limitless amount of brushes you can use and limitless amount of paints you can use, but obviously it's how you do it. So, but yeah, I think I've got a plan. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. So I think is the idea that we're going to feature Steve's 10-minute marine as like a segment in the next episode, and then we'll maybe feature one of ours in each episode after that. Are we
I
thinking?
think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, and then get other people in. There's other people already in the wings, ready, waiting, wanting to have a go at this. So,
Potential
but
victims
obviously,
already lined up.
you know how it is. Like they've got to see the masters, all of us, perform to the highest possible, and they need to know what it is and the standard they need to meet, not beat, meet. Like because I'm not going to beat our standard at all.
Seb, will you be all right, mate? Because you're going to get halfway through your Infernus Marine and start building an orc or something like that.
I was thinking to myself, shit, I've never actually painted anything in like less than an hour. Oh man.
I was going to say, Seb's like, I haven't even been able to paint for 10 minutes straight. Like,
No, to be fair,
before I
I've
paint
got an idea. I think I know exactly. I've got an idea. I think I know exactly how I'm going to do it, and it's going to be hilarious. That's all I'm saying.
I've
You're going to do it with like a masonry brush.
No,
8-inch brush.
No, and I'm getting another thing as well. I want to add into that. Obviously, if we're painting in 10 minutes, are we going to have any allowance of you can use a hairdryer if you want to get shit dried quicker? Is that fine or none of that?
Why the fuck did you have to say that, you absolute bell piece?
I think that's a very good point
the
because
rules were set and you just fucking ruined it.
I haven't ruined it at all. I'm just saying because some people, if they're literally like pasting on contrast paint or like base paints, are they allowed to dry it, or is it literally just got to be straight on?
Like and I can't.
I'm sorry,
that's a tricky one.
question.
I'd have been tempted to say yes, to be honest with you, because otherwise
you are allowed to use it. Yeah. No, I think you should be able to use a hairdryer because
It
otherwise
can add to the fun, especially if you've got water near you as well. It adds to a bit of danger.
execution segment, the 10-minute marine.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can use it
if you knock over paint. That's all. Yeah, that's all time. Once the timer starts,
So, yeah,
that's it.
you can use a hairdryer to dry your model in between coats, but obviously all that time, that's still your 10-minute time if you're doing that.
Yeah. It's going to be like the Great British Bake Off with a lot more spilled Agrax Earth shade, isn't it? That's.
I mean, the shade is the shade was the thing that I was hoping to pick. I got to make it work. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting.
Well,
but yeah, so no, I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be good fun. But we've got some other things that are coming up as well. We've got some other challenges which are very, very interesting as well, which I'm looking forward to. But we won't say too much about.
I should say very quickly, little shout out to a chap called Adam who came in today. Who said he's been listening to the podcast.
Oh, thank you, Adam.
Applause for Adam.
Adam, if you're listening, thank you.
Yeah.
That's about it, really. See you soon for some.
Thank you, Jack, if you're still here.
Thank you, Adam and Jack. Thanks for doubling our listener numbers.
Thanks for tuning in, chaps.
And hopefully we'll see Adam at one of the gaming nights soon.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Steve has briefly mentioned some of the other things that we've got coming up there, and yeah, without being, we don't want to give away exactly what they are, but suffice to say that some of them may build on certain elements of what we're doing here. But yeah, those to be revealed in future episodes. So my thoughts are that eventually, please speak up, chaps, if you disagree. I think that probably after we start the 10-minute marine challenges, we're not going to be including the 10-minute marine as a 10-minute segment within this. However, we'll having like a really condensed highlight section of it, and then us talking to the person whose challenge it was about how they got on with it as the kind of principal focus. But that will become kind of a recurring part of the podcast, and there will be other parts that we're bringing in as we go along as well. So it won't just be, we'll keep doing 10-minute marines until we're bored of that and then start doing something else. The 10-minute marine will hopefully become a recurring thing that we're doing in each episode as a small part of each episode, and we'll be slowly introducing additional things which will kind of form part of that lineup. And we'll have...
Could we say, and we can cut this out if not, could we say that the 10-minute marine is only the start? Can we say that?
I feel like we could say
this
that.
This 10-minute marine challenge is the beginning.
There's a lot to come. However, one other thing I just want to add is if people are listening and if they've got any interesting challenges they're thinking about, obviously please drop in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. We've got a list as long as sorry,
3.
as long as my arm.
As long as 3.
As high as most of us in here can count. Yeah, that's...
Yeah. So yeah, we got a list of a whole load of ideas, and some of them I am really looking forward to. I think they're going to be quite good. Yeah. But yeah, if anyone's got any other ideas or challenges to do anything around Warhammer, really, let us know in the comments. We might do one, or we might have already got it in there. Just gonna say. So yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I'm okay. I've said everything I've got to say.
See you later, Steve. Thanks.
It's been quite nice actually having Josh look after taking the lead in the pod. We're going to be sharing that as well between us and stuff because and thank you. You've done a fantastic job, Josh. I'm really
Yeah, I mean, it's really because I know you've been really busy lately, and having to think about all of this stuff as well is just another thing when you're already rushed off your feet doing all sorts of stuff. Not least of all having to think about having to rebuild my bathroom in a couple of weeks. Which, bless you, that's a fate worse than death, I think.
to be honest,
Josh, you still planning on absolutely killing it before he goes in there?
Yeah, meat only diet until he arrives. Yeah,
meat and chocolate.
I'll tell you what, it's a winner. It's a winner. I'll tell you that.
Oh, mate. No, Josh's bathroom at the present moment hasn't been remodeled since the 60s, so No, to be fair, the funniest thing about Josh's bathroom is if you've not met Josh is not the shortest guy, but his head can touch the ceiling in the bathroom at the present moment. The shower's not on top of his head. He has to bend over the shower.
Me standing in the shower looks a bit like this.
So I've got that to come up. So excellent. Well, I look forward to it. So it should be good fun.
So I think that brings us pretty much to the end of what we were going to be talking about today. Thanks ever so much for joining us, everybody. So remember, next time, tune in and you can see Steve sweat with his 10-minute marine. And
I've got it in a bag. I have
we're all going to be looking forward to seeing that, and then each sweating in turn when it becomes our go to have a try at it. But no, thanks everybody for tuning in and listening, and we will catch you in a couple of weeks.
See you soon.
Bye, guys.